Well, good evening, good people. It's the what episode is it?
Was it 110?
It's no 211.
211.
110. Good God.
110 back in the day.
Right. That was like 100 episodes ago. Episode 211th of the Mina's House podcast. I'm Mina SayWhat.
I'm Shana B.
Dexter Stuckey.
Happy Black History Month, guys.
Woo-woo.
Shana wanted to make sure we are reminded.
Yes, shortest month of the year for all this greatness that we gave this country.
She wore her not Rosa Parks shirt today.
That's my mood for the rest of the week. Nah, not doing it. Like I started, not doing it.
Nope, try again. Not today. How about you, Dexter? Where's your Black History Month attire?
Right here.
Rough.
In my hands.
Well, look, I have to wait for our month. So Spanish History Month, half of it is in September and the other half is in October. So y'all think y'all got the short end of the stick because you only got 28 days. We don't even got a full month. We got like half of a month and then half of another month. So,
half of your month was on layaway.
Right.
Like
they wasn't sure if they was gonna give it to you.
Right. They're like, okay, we gonna do half today and half tomorrow. Okay, Garnett, looking all joining the pod, looking all professional.
Okay. What was the guy when a girlfriend's? Okay, William.
Oh, Garnett got in all that background.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah. all that.
You sold the house today, Garnett? You look like you sold the house today.
I wish I did. I got mad stuff done though. Hopefully I picked up a couple more clients today. So that's it. It's working.
All right. Well, the big news this week as we get into our feed is our girl Rihanna's pregnant. Ooh, ooh. Yes. Man, another one bites the dust.
Yeah. No, listen. I didn't know. I had no clue that when I first found out about A$AP Rocky back in like 2010 or whatever, that he was going to be my arch nemesis for the rest of my life. No clue. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, he hit the jackpot with this, man. Is this like, so you have Beyonce, right? She's like way up here, right? Like where does Rihanna fall as far as
like right next door?
Right.
Like and in fact, as far as like desirable, I think Beyonce's there, but I think Rihanna may be the next level up in the sense of like Rihanna's definitely has more of an exotic look than Beyonce has, and also like we kind of knew forever that Beyonce was off limits. Like she was kind of always like under her dad or like basically married. Rihanna, we kind of had a shot, you know. Like if we caught her at the club, we might be able to slip her our number or something like that. I don't know, but like she's approachable, she's young, and it's like, you know, like it's like this is kind of, I can see why people are kind of hurt by this because it's like, I mean, not that we really had a shot, but it's like you kind of had a shot. Like
you hit the nail on the head. I was gonna say I think Beyonce has always kind of been like off limits. You know, it's not like someone you dream about, you know, because It's like, why would I dream about Beyonce, right? But I think
pop up in your mind.
Right, but like I think Rihanna was definitely someone people thought was obtainable, and it's not because she's a billionaire. So to be clear, she's not obtainable at all. But the aura that she puts out is you feel like you know her. That's why I think everybody was so excited about the pregnancy, right? Like we all feel like she's our bestie in our head and we know her. And that's where the relatability comes in, where you do feel like you can approach her, but you can't because she's worth $1 billion.
But even from an attainable standpoint though, like maybe not me and Garnett, but there are guys like Drake and Chris Brown who are like, they wouldn't have tried to approach Beyonce, but even they can't get Rihanna now. Like it's like, there are guys that she's dated, guys in the industry that say that she's their crush. Even they can't get to her now. Like this is devastating across the country.
I was gonna say, you know, I think the thing is she dated those like notable guys, and then she like dated too. Like, so you know what I mean? Like she was kind of like living her best life as this young figure, unattached. She was with the billionaire dude too for a while, but to see her like locked in with somebody and now having a baby is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think it's the end of an era. Like literally, like Rihanna was that your young single friend that makes mad money and popping bottles all the time, smoking weed, like living our best life. And it's like, she's about to be a mom. Like Nicki Minaj is a mother. Rihanna is a mother. Like this is the end of like an era for people in our age bracket, like millennials, who literally, like we celebrated and partied to their music. And, it's like, damn, they got their mamas now.
Right. I think I felt even different about Nicki than Rihanna, because I mean, obviously it was some speculation like, oh, she gonna have a kid because Safari had a kid and everything, but it was like Rihanna wasn't trying to pop out no babies because Chris Brown and Drake and whoever was. She was like, I'm living my best life.
You do have to give a shout out to your friends over at the FBI because they did call this quite some time ago.
They did.
Listen, the Federal Bureau of the Internet be on it. But how many times have y'all gotten it wrong before where y'all had her pregnant and now all of a sudden it's true? But, we're happy for her. I feel like everybody's growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like people get married, they have kids.
But then you think about it, like people are at that age, even we're at that age too. So like, it's even with our close friends, like some of my friends will be like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Because I went to high school with you. What do you mean you're pregnant? Like, it's weird. We're getting old.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I was telling my mom, I'm like, I'm not in the mind space to have a baby. Like, right. I just want to be like, let's go drinking. Let's go. Like, I want to fuck it. I'll show up to work drunk. Like you can't live that lifestyle anymore when you have a child.
Or now.
Somebody doing it. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere doing it. I hope they're not showing up to work drunk.
Well, I used to show up to work drunk a lot, like from the night before. Like I drank so much that I didn't sleep enough. So I got up and I'm like, whoa.
What do you mean used to? This is still going down with me. Still going down. You understand?
Listen, if Garnett ever gets someone pregnant, I will be like, wow, it's really the end of an era.
And I'm the bar.
Right. He ain't growing up. Look how professional he's dressed right now.
Listen.
Look at this.
That's the only thing.
And it's weird too, because I want to say it's different with guys, like, because guys aren't the responsible ones, but like all my friends who have kids, like they really will not go out no more. Like it's like they're different people now. When guys have kids, they really turn into a whole responsible ones. They really turn into a whole different person.
Some
of them.
Some go the other way.
You wanna know what's crazy though? You wanna know what's crazy? Like I know it was mad people waiting on this like Rihanna to drop some new music, but like I guess that ain't happening no time soon.
Put a fork in it.
Well, it definitely is not.
Is her music even gonna be the same? Like
lullabies.
How could you dum dee da dum dum da dum da? Like with I don't know.
What is she gonna talk about now?
I just. But you know what? She wasn't writing her music anyway.
I was gonna say she was just
but even with her not writing it though, like it still made sense and it felt like that's how she was feeling. But now it's like I don't even know what I would want you. Like I guess you have to. What are you gonna talk about? That's
you can always do the reggae thing. There's no brand that like you can always do. Rhythm music. You can always do that. Pop music.
Yeah.
We are going to get everything that we wanted. You hear me? We're going to get that Rihanna and ASAP Rocky collab album. What do you mean?
It's going to be about a baby, though. We're not going to get poured up anymore.
It'll be like love songs. They'll do love songs. They could probably do songs that lead like sexual songs because obviously they had to have sex.
I don't need that. I just need her to some music from her. I really don't need nobody else on it.
All right.
One more thing, though. I do think, though, sadly, we will never get another Rihanna and Drake song. And that, to me, is more devastating than her being pregnant right now.
I think we weren't getting that even before she got pregnant, bro. She's so over that.
Sad.
So everybody announced their pregnancy. The Brat and her partner are pregnant. Nick Cannon is pregnant again with his 8th child.
Nick.
Yeah.
No
Nick
pull
at
out,
this point.
No pull
out. It's not that.
Man.
It's that he's literally going raw in multiple women at multiple times. Like his
at
kids
the same time.
Back to back. What you said?
I said at the same time, if we start counting, like how many in this last year? Like 4?
Yeah.
I think he only had 2 before. So
he got 8.
You're right. So it was like
he went from 2 to 8.
No, he had 3 before because he got them twins and then the girl that has a golden. So he had them 3. So
and then he had another set of twins.
Right. Well, remember, then he had another set that passed. So we can't even count them because the girl that had the twins passed. But in this last year, so he had, that doesn't even make sense. Like that's why I feel like he just feels bad and wants to make babies because she was pregnant, had a miscarriage, and then she had twins like a couple months later. And they still weren't together. Like that's why I'm so confused. Like, and then I thought, I don't know. So so to your point, it's like 6 within the last 12 months. Well, let's count 18 months. If you count why they was pregnant, that's a lot of people you sleeping with.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon is really funny, man, because he's one of those like low key, like he's a very smart, like woke dude. And right now I think he's just too woke. I don't know what book he read that he felt like this is the move.
I think
even all of these kids and what's up with Nick, man?
I think looking at your background, it guys, for the podcast listeners, he has all that background. It makes me think back to Nick Cannon and all that, and like the perception of him, gigolo Nick Cannon, when people would say that he's corny and all that kind of stuff like this. And I don't think you shake that. I think that if you've grown up and you've been in this industry and people called you corny, this, that, and the third, like that stuff always kind of like flows with you. And now that Nick has money and a little bit more notoriety, I think he's still that same guy who feels like he's so corny or whatever, and he's trying to overcompensate for it. And he's overcompensating by having sex and having all these kids.
Now, you think that changed when he married Mariah Carey?
No, because think about it. Like he got Mariah Carey or whatever, and it was like boosting him up and stuff like that. But then they got a divorce. And notice he started doing all this extra stuff once Mariah Carey got a divorce. But also remember, Nick Cannon was dating Christina Milian, who was gorgeous. He cheated on Christina Milian with Selena E. Banks. He was with Selena E. Banks, gorgeous as well. Lost her, got Mariah, got her pregnant. She lost her. Like, I think Nick may be corny. Like, I think it may be one of those things that he has some personal things with himself that he's not keeping these women around. So, like, if I can get them and I can bag them, whatever, and I have a kid with them, I still got them. And I think that's how he's looking at it.
Well, they were saying that because he has lupus and he felt like his life
I don't believe it.
gonna come to an end.
That's what you were just hoping, like, would be a reason that you would even, again, and I love Nick Cannon. I love his personality. I actually love how open he is. Well, too open. but like, it's just like from a sexual, like all the women, they pH balance got to be messed up. That's all I'm saying. Like,
they all have bacterial vaginosis.
They all got it because, I mean, that's you dipping and doing it. And these are just the ones, guys, we don't even know how many just didn't get pregnant. Like, we don't know.
Yo, you're in my head. I literally was going to say, these are just the women he's getting pregnant. Like, he has to be having sex with more women that are going to pop up. I just think, look, I get that he has money and I get that he loves kids and he wants multiple kids. And, I just think it's really hard for someone with all the jobs that he has to give every child the personal attention that child needs. Not to mention, he just lost a child. So that was a conversation inside of this. Like, how uncomfortable is this for the woman that just lost her child then? And what that announcement came, a month ago, to now announce there's another child coming. It's like borderline insensitive, but you don't want to like not give the child that's coming its just due. It's just a sticky situation. And this is what happens when you're having them back to back like this. Obviously no one foresaw Zen passing away, but it creates an uncomfortable situation where, okay, this person's mourning the death of your child, but you're also celebrating another child. It's just, it's not good.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, so let's make this clear. Like, he's been really rich for a long time. Like, this isn't like yesterday. Like, right. So to have him like roll out of bed these last couple of years, it was like, aha. every girl I come across, I'm just going to impregnate. It's like, what happened? Like, what really happened? What was it? The sickness? I don't know. He knows he's had that, for a while too. Like, I really feel like, ever since he put that turban on, he been acting different. Woke.
But I was going to say now, and I'll just say this as a family of people that have lupus and a potential candidate of lupus. I think it's one thing to know that you have it, but and I'm not saying that this is an excuse,
right?
He did start getting really sick from it because again, it's manageable. It's like one of those things where you could be completely fine all your life, know you have it, and then you be so autoimmune compromised where he was in the hospital a couple of times. But even that, I don't think, and I'm not him, but I don't think would be a good reason. Like, okay, you wanted multiple kids, but you do have the opportunity. And I'm sure these women, if you chose, maybe not Mariah, but the next girl that you now have two, if you say, hey, listen, I want to have an army of them, I'm sure she'd have been down for it. Like, so why? Because to Nina's point, not only is it multiple, they're like multiple moms in different states, and like, so you got to split your time so much that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's on some pro-black stuff, man. He's just trying to keep the melanin alive or something. I don't know what's going on.
He could have adopted some kids.
Right.
Or like, look at Madonna. Madonna done adopted every African kid out there. Like, I mean, it's like, I'm just saying, like, if you wanted kids, look, the man has his reasoning. He has the money. I just think if he would have took his time, but I feel like because he's popping them back to back to back, it's giving reckless.
Yeah, exactly.
It's reckless. I'm sorry. Because at your point, you could not celebrate this child because, again, clearly she was already pregnant when Zen was just born.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Celebrate this child in this. It's just crazy. And that wouldn't have to happen. At least space these kids out if you're going to be knocking these women out.
That's my thing. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having that many kids as long as you have dedicated the time to, like, maybe fostering or, making sure each kid at least can walk. Like, there's like 4 of them that can't walk.
Rock and Roll, and again, they were young when him and Mariah got divorced, but they're really the only ones that have had like the fullness of his time.
Right.
And I'm sure he was busy and doing stuff and Mariah doing her stuff, but that's a lot. And I was real like, come on now, how many brothers and sisters we gonna have?
They ain't even met all their brothers and sisters. Mariah ain't let her child meet the whole clan.
Mariah was taking gold in the round, but she like, no, the RV is not big enough for all these other kids. Sorry.
I will say, back to our previous conversation, I did think, and look, granted, he did date Christina Milian and Salida E. Banks, and it's not like he couldn't bag women, but I do think him marrying Mariah gave him a credibility that he didn't have prior to that. Like, I feel like when Mariah married him, we were like, oh, wow. Like, she put a ring on it. And then we started to evaluate his past. Like, oh no, he got swag. Look at these girls he's been dating.
Yeah.
But I do think that Mariah put her stamp on that. And like the respect that people have for her kind of transferred to him. Cause then people were like, oh, but because at first it was like, Nick Cannon's marrying Mariah? What? Because Mariah just seems so out of his league, but people started saying, no, but he's making X amount of money and he does this and he does that and he has this TV show and that TV show. And when you started looking at his resume, you're like, okay, we understand why Mariah chose this man. She knew stuff we ain't know. But I love Nick. And I think big families are a blessing. I just think that it's too fast and these kids are not going to get what they need from their father. And it's sad.
Yeah.
So in other devastating news, it's like the week of big news. Tom Brady retired, which was weird because they said he was going to retire last week. And then they were like, no, he's not going to retire. And I don't know if maybe he got snowed in with the rest of us because we got a lot of snow, but I don't know what happened this weekend. And then he came out this week and said he's retiring, which, to be honest, I was very surprised. Because to me, Tom Brady seems like a competitive person and he didn't even make it to the championship, the Super Bowl. So to me, I would feel like maybe he would want to achieve those things in order to go out. The way that he lost that final game was, it was kind of devastating, right? So I was surprised by this announcement.
I don't think I was surprised. I mean, I've been waiting for it to come. And to your point, no, not like waiting.
Your old ass, you need to retire.
No, I'm saying he could, in the shape that he's in, when you look at other quarterbacks, he could keep playing. Now, do you want to keep playing? Clearly, like, in a week or so, he was going to get a $15 million bonus. So clearly, money ain't an object for him, because he's like, I don't even need $15 million because I don't want to play.
I need it.
I really thought that last year when they won the Super Bowl, he would retire to go out on top. But again, that drive to keep doing it. But then I think the way the game ended this season is like, ooh, do I want to make, you just feel like people should end on their top. And it's like, do I want to continue this cycle and then I retire? Like, what if this would have happened next season? Then the season after that, then you would be like, oh man, Tom Brady, the last 3 seasons, he's
it's like when Jordan came back after playing golf.
Right. But I kind of don't. I mean, I guess it'll be the end because of his age, but something in me keeps just telling, like, in the middle of the season, we're going to see him like suit up and be on somebody's team or something weird that just might happen with Tom Brady.
I mean, I think it's great for football that he's retiring, to be honest with you. I thought, like, when he played for the Patriots and then he left, I'm like, oh, he's definitely not going to stick around much longer, because it's kind of like this is your home team. Like, you wanted to be with them. You won Super Bowls with them. Then you left. And it's kind of I think the leaving was kind of like, can I do this somewhere else? I want to prove people wrong, where they're like, I'm just winning because I'm with this team. He went to another team. He did well with them. They won the Super Bowl. Right. So then it's like, what else is there to do? And then I think it's kind of one of those things this year when they're not in the Super Bowl, it comes to a point where it's just like, you know what, maybe it is time for me to let somebody else take their opportunities, and I'm okay with it. I hope he's okay with it. And then it'll be exciting to see what he does next.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I feel like when you he played 22 years. That's like incredible. Yeah, right. In a league where, it's like 3 to 5 years max on like average, like players, their careers, but doing something for 22 years at any level, of anything that's professional, that's just incredible. So it's just like hats off to him to be able to like really do that, whether, you're in radio, whether you're in real estate, construction, like giving yourself 22 years of like doing that every day is just like simply incredible. But yeah, going to Dex's point, I just probably just reach a point where you proved your point. Like, what else do you really have to do? And, I think part of his point might have been, walking out on his own terms and not having such a terrible season where it's like, oh, he's not that good. It's like he led the league in passing yards. So, can he still play? Yeah, but, he didn't leave injured. He didn't leave broken up. He didn't leave like, his skill level went down and that's why he's leaving. He left literally like, this guy still can play. Like, this was a choice. It wasn't forced on him. And like you said, I mean, he left the team he was with for 20 years, proved his point by winning a Super Bowl. And then he had an incredible game, how you go out, he's down 27-3. He comes back in like Brady fashion. It's like, oh my God, he's the GOAT. He came up short, but you still
give him the credit.
Right. That's still in the back.
It wasn't even like, him. Wow. They won by a field goal.
Right.
So it was like completely out of his control.
You're not blaming him.
Yeah, and he him off even more. Like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. He still can walk out with his head held high. And I mean, a lot of ex-athletes in general just speak about the dedication that they have to put into their work and the lack of attention that they give their family. Not saying that he's not there, but he can be doing so much more. And I mean, after 22 years, his kids are getting older. His wife, I'm pretty sure, is getting tired. And now he gets a chance to, relax a little bit and, spend that quality time. But I wouldn't be surprised if mid-season he hopped back in either.
My boyfriend was saying that because I felt like this wasn't really Tom Brady fashion for him to go out and not even get to the championship. I would think if he were going to go out, to your point, Dex, it would have been after the Super Bowl when you're like at the top. But my boyfriend pointed out and said he leads in every category. Mm-hmm. So personally, he has, he's at the top. Personally, him, it wasn't his fault that his team didn't make the championship, they were close, but he did bring them back and lost by a field goal. But I just didn't see it happening now. It kind of caught me off guard. I thought maybe it would be like one more year where he at least would get, to the championship, if not the Super Bowl. But
and to piggyback off of that as well, so like their team isn't going to be the same coming back. So, they're going to have to.
Okay, with your sports analysis. Go ahead, Garnett, Briscoe.
This is what I do. But yeah, their team isn't going to be the same coming back. So like keeping that same team, like it's just in limbo as far as, are we actually going to be championship worthy next year? Yeah. It's really worth it. And like I said, he get a chance to walk out on his own.
So part of the conversation people were having was he wrote like an 8-page letter and literally thanked so many people that he's played with, that he's coached with, people that have given him an opportunity, his family, the fans, and no Patriot mention. So Robert Kraft wrote like a really nice note, sent it out on the Patriots social media. He retweeted and said something, but in his initial goodbye, there was no mention of the Patriots. So people were like, "Oh, there's shade," So that kind of made me think about like, what's the proper way to quit a job? Because now in today's world, you have to put up the social media post, right? It's just the way it is now. Like I remember when I left my job doing mornings at Power 99, people were like on my social media, like, "Where are you? Where are you? What's going on? We haven't heard you." And I was like, do I have to post about this? So we're like in this world where you got to let people know what's going on and what your thoughts are. So what's like the proper way to do it, and some improper ways that you guys have quit your jobs?
Well, first of all, I was gonna say you're different, so you gotta post it, because I still ain't never think I ever posted about my job change yet. Because no one care. They're like, I'm the behind the scenes girl. They don't see me no way.
People care. You better stop that.
One time I was on ESPN that I still get texts about, but the proper way, and my mom works in HR, so she's always going to say is to give your 2-week notice. Now it's appropriate, to send by email. Before it used to be like in a letter. But that's just generally the proper way. It kind of does depend if you're like a contractor or, a W-2 employee. It's, to me, like when I've had to have those conversations with people, it's the hardest conversations ever when I'm leaving a place that I like. It's different if you leave in a place you ain't like, you don't bang with or whatever. But when I'm leaving a place that I like, but it's just a better opportunity for me, it's always, and that's just probably me, I always feel like I'm like breaking somebody's heart or something. Like it's a breakup. Like, so I've come to terms. And I remember when I left Nordstrom, the store manager was like, and she's so funny because she had like a very cartoony. She was like, "Oh no, what are we doing?" And then I just stopped talking, like in the middle, like I'm just not gonna say nothing else. I felt like she was gonna talk me into it. But that's always the proper way. Obviously, it's a lot of improper ways, and we see it on social media now. And speaking of improper ways, anybody care to share?
She's looking at you, Dexter.
Me? That's what you do.
What I do?
I'm just saying. I'm just not.
No, you know what's crazy though? No, Garnett, go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say it's definitely improper ways, man. I've freaking quit a job by just not showing up like at all. Like,
don't call those shows.
Listen, it's like, yeah, I am out of here. Like it's just, yes. No.
So you didn't even tell them I quit? You just never came back?
Never came back. I saw one of the coworkers.
Did you get your last paycheck?
Huh?
Did you get your last paycheck?
Yeah, they send that direct deposit. They send the mail. What's the use? I don't, very, very unprofessional. Yeah, I was very unprofessional in my past. But yeah, I've seen.
How old were you when you did this? Like, what was your age?
That might have been like 25.
That is not that young, Garnett.
You're older than 25.
Garnett, that was 3 years ago for you.
I didn't say I was young. I said I was unprofessional. Those are two different things. Those are two different things where it's just like, yeah, this isn't going to work at all. I've seen, some of the coworkers and stuff out there like, yo, you didn't show up. I'm like, yo, I know. I ain't coming back either. So, oh, wow, okay, cool. Like,
Garnett, you couldn't have worked with me because I watched too much Snap and Oxygen. I'm like, he ain't show up. Should we pause? Should we at his house? because you never know, because it takes 48 hours for the missing person report.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay.
I would never do that. I don't care how much I hate that job. Like, just not show up. I would at least be like, hey, I quit. This is my last day.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
and also I think you wasted time. I've never done this, but I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to quit a job with an attitude. Like, I'm done with this, just walk out, I quit. I've always wanted to do that.
Right.
Yeah, but like the only job I've ever had where I probably could have done it is McDonald's. But then it's like when you get like older, it's like, yeah, you can't do that at these jobs. Like, because you're gonna need them. Like, for instance, I just was interviewing and they're like, okay, like, these are the jobs you've had in the past. We're gonna call all these people for a reference. Like, I'm so bad at quitting jobs. The job I had in high school was at Gap or Banana Republic, right? Guys, like, I literally was working at Banana Republic until the pandemic hit and they closed the store. Like, I never quit the job because I didn't know how to. I was scared to quit the job. Like I literally had that job for 14 years.
Wait, what's going on with Banana Republic's HR department? Because they should have been closed out your file.
Like sometimes they'd be like, hey, can you come in on the weekend? I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can come in. Like because I just didn't know how to quit. I didn't want to do it. And I'm like, I can only do like 3 hours. And they're like, oh, no problem. We just need the help just to come in. And yeah, like they called me one day and were like, hey, we're closing down the store. I'm really sorry. And I was like, I'm the last person y'all should be calling.
Actually, thank you. So I was going to say, Dex, you do know that now. I don't know if it's a law everywhere, but in Pennsylvania, when they call your professional references, all they can do is verify your dates of employment.
I did hear that.
Yes. But that's why a lot of jobs now ask for professional and personal references.
Makes sense.
Again, they know technically, legally, this job don't have to tell me nothing. But yes, Dexter, yeah, he worked here this day, this time. Yep, he worked in that role, that department. They technically, legally, that's all they have to say.
And then the last job, not the last job that I quit, but the one before that I quit, it was the job. I worked the job for 5 years. I loved it. I gave them a month in advance to find somebody else. I trained the new people. And then I posted on social media that I'm leaving the job. And then 4 months later, we were having conversations about me going back. And I was so mortified. So guys, don't post on social media that you're quitting your job. Like, it's the stupidest thing in the world. All these people from the past that worked there were reaching out to me. They were talking to me about it. So like, for me, I'm like, if I go back, like, I look crazy. Like, I can't do it. Like, I can't go back there. So like, just don't post about it. Unless you're like Mina, you kind of have to, like, not necessarily post, but you have to let people know. But like, I was super behind the scenes. I didn't need to do that. And I wish I didn't.
But Dex, that doesn't look crazy. There are so many people that go back to a place for, if it might look crazy to people that know you if they know like about the job or something, but there are sometimes people that do bring people back in a higher position, a better position.
Well, I mean, that's what it would have been.
Yeah, like unless you was like, when you're,
but then you got to say it.
Job, I'm out today. Screw y'all for all the year. And then it would look crazy if you're like, as of today, I'm starting my role.
The crazy part about it, I never even posted that I worked there. Like, so it was like, why did you even post that you didn't work there? It was just stupid. Like, we got to stop doing that. We talk too much on social media. And then, you know what's crazy? I was arguing with somebody on Facebook yesterday, and he was being disrespectful to people or whatever. And I'm looking like, where does he work at? His job is on his Facebook profile. I say, I'm gonna send this to your job. I'm gonna get you fired. Like, we gotta stop talking about where we work. People don't need to know where you work at. Stop it.
Yeah, I think that's super crazy. I look at people, I'm not gonna say different, but it's like you're very like unaware of the situation. Like, you're on social media saying whatever the heck you want.
Yeah,
it's not family members following you. That's one. Family members that get you out of here at Thanksgiving. It's family members. You got coworkers, and depending on what business you have, or what industry you in, you have potential customers that you're speaking to like this at the end of the day. So you got to be like super conscious on what you say. And I know nobody wants to be PC, but if it's going to better you, then you better do it and create, do what the athletes do, create a burner account and get your tweet off or something like that. But you definitely got to be conscious, especially in this world where they'll bring anything to the table to cancel you to get you out of here.
Yes.
Yeah. I always like quit everything and left everything professional. And I tried to be like really optimistic and really like positive, regardless of my experience. But I feel like in the past, maybe like 2-3 years, I've developed this thing where I just want to be like, F you, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even care anymore. But it's like, I remember my first real job. I literally have been working since I was a teenager, like a young teenager, various fast food, retail, selling sneakers, everything, right? But my first like real radio job where I was full-time was at Sirius XM. And I loved it there so much. I had that same experience, Dex, where like I gave them ample time. I trained the new people. I even wanted to stay on board because I used to be like a program director, which is like they pick the music.
Mm-hmm.
So I was programming and I was doing on air. So I'm like, let me just stay on weekends and do on air. And they were like, no, we're good. So I ended up going to work and do mornings in Philly for 6 years. And then that was a job that when I left, I wanted to be like, F you. But instead I was like, thank you for your time. I appreciate everything that you've done because, the industry that I'm in, it's like so small that it's like if you do that carries with you, right? So but it's funny, people really dissect like what you say in your goodbye message and like who you thank and who you don't thank.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember people telling me like, oh, so and so is pissed because you didn't thank. And I was like, I didn't think to thank so and so because so and so wasn't helpful in my journey. Like I only thanked people that were helpful in my job. I'm not gonna thank everybody. Like just because you got a title doesn't mean I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna thank people that literally helped me, helped me grow and gave me comfort and care. So I remember that. I thought that was weird. Like, why do people care who I'm not thanking? It's not any shade. Yeah. It's just like, that's like Dex, like you and I work together, Dex, right? That's like, I'm leaving. I'm like, thank you, Dex. Dex is my friend, but Dex is just my friend.
I feel like my name was mentioned. I gotta look at it. Yeah. I really do feel like you said my name in there. I do feel that way. I gotta look again.
I'm just saying it's like that thing. Like it's not no shade on Dex. It's just Dex was my work friend, but Dex wasn't, there to help me like become better air talent or right. When I'm about to get in trouble, like, yo, what are you doing? Relax, like. So I just thought that was weird. But recently I've been thinking about like saying a nice F you to jobs that I
you can do that.
Like even just writing a letter saying, this is how crappy you are. This is why I'm leaving. Peace. I haven't done it, but it definitely has crossed my mind.
I was going to say, in some jobs, that what they have is the exit interview. So say you give your notice, they have and more jobs actually need to do it. I don't know what they do with that feedback, but that's when, like, I know people that have been like, child, I was just in my note, like, effective, this is my last day, but that exit interview, I went in. Because the exit interview is normally like your last day or something. So, you don't necessarily care, but you might care about burning a bridge or something like that. But I think, in Dex, you were going with this with the references. The one thing that you were talking about in radio, I think just in life now, like everybody knows somebody that knows somebody, whether they can find it on LinkedIn or whatever. So you do have to be more careful about like how you leave a job just because you don't know who knows that person. I did an internship in college, and I graduated college 99 years ago. And then that person is now very high up at the Eagles. And we, when we reconnected, when I was going for a job at the Eagles, and the crazy thing is I didn't even get the job, but I really didn't get the job, not because I was qualified. I actually didn't get it because I was overqualified. And that was his point to me, like, I can't get you, you're going to be bored. You're going to be trying to leave. And that doesn't make sense. But the thing was, I was even brought to the table because we left the internship good. I never talked to him again. I never anything. So you don't know how far in your journey you're going to cross paths with a person in a position that you work with again. So it's just better to lead it kind of professionally if you can. So
you shouldn't write the letter that says y'all suck and this is why.
You can say, you can do a nice nasty in the way that they get. You want to do it in the way that they like. Is she being shady? I think that might be shade. But they go home and tell their friends like, wait, read this line because I don't know if this is shade or not.
Y'all hot mess and y'all need to get it together. I can't. I shouldn't write that.
To be honest with you, I planned in my last time I quit, I planned to do that. Like I was just like, I'm going to just let them know like what time it is, so forth and so on. But then, to be honest with you, working there and being around the people, you do kind of, you're like, I didn't hate it as much as I may have thought that I did. I'm on my way out. And then it's kind of like, there's no better punishment than you guys than losing me. Like, y'all are losing me. That's going to be a problem for you long term. So like, regardless of how you feel, like if I curse you out this and the third, you're not, the effect of you losing me is not going to be as bad because it's going to be like, damn, we got so much work to do, but thank God he's not here with that nasty attitude. I'd rather it be like, oh my God, we got so much work to do. What are we going to do because he's not here? Like, I want y'all to miss me and call me back and keep calling me every month like y'all do.
I will say I'm happy that, I left the situation and say thank you for the opportunity, whatever, because what I've learned is people that might literally get on your nerves when you're working with them, you might actually be able to tolerate them when you're not working with them. Yeah, and it's just a matter of like, I don't dislike you as a person. I just think you're inadequate in this position. But now that I'm no longer in my position and I have to deal with your inadequacy, I could actually talk to you now. I don't have a problem with you. So it's like, I learned that part of it as well, as like, you can literally, somebody can be under your nerves because, work wise, it's like there's no compatibility in terms of like workflow or ambition or, dedication. There's so many different reasons that make different, people, different workers. But just because I'm not compatible with you work-wise doesn't mean that when I don't see you out, I can't kiki with you. So it's like, I've learned that part of it as well. Like, I'm kind of happy that I was never like, guns blazing, middle finger up, like, I don't, but I'm happy that I didn't do that because I genuinely don't dislike anyone personally, some things were just work related, and then like sometimes when you sitting next to someone every day, or you're dealing with someone on a weekly basis and you're like, oh, now I gotta go in a meeting with this dude who want to talk forever and waste my time when this could have been an email. Like when you remove those annoying factors, that person's actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So sometimes. I'm glad I didn't go out that way.
Right, Garnett, sometimes.
I mean, we could take a page out of Tom Brady book. I mean, this is like a saying we've been taught when we were younger. It's like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that actually can go a long way because at least you didn't say anything terrible that'll get you into some like mess. And yeah, it may not be you had nice words to say about them, but you didn't say anything terrible about them to even have them feel any kind of way. Like if they do, then that's on them, for saying, oh, well, she didn't thank me. Yeah, well, she didn't dish you in this memo either. So you better pick your poison at the end of the day. So yeah.
People take that serious. And it made me think about that when I saw like, they literally pointed out, oh, Tom Brady didn't thank the Patriots. Like.
I will say this, right? So he did thank them like wholeheartedly when he left. So did he really have to like run it back again? Maybe, but like that is a thought. It's like
I want to mention.
He was with them for 20 years.
But I was going to say, something really bad happened, and it's definitely Nick Foles in the Philadelphia Eagles fault. That's all I'm going to say. And then whatever happened in that offseason, it soured him for life.
But again, something clearly went left, but it's enough for Robert Kraft to be like, this man, I've never been around anyone with his humility, with his drive, with his ambition. And for Tom to respond the way that he did. Again, sometimes when you're really close to people, they're on your nerves, right? And then when you remove yourself from them, you're like, okay, well, we could chill. We cool. I don't got to work with you no more.
Maybe that was the first olive branch. Maybe, they just both parties hadn't talked. Like you said, sometimes you leave a job and you're like, I'm not messing with none of them. And then, for whatever the case is, if somebody extends that olive branch, and, then Tom Brady responded, because sometimes that just needs to be the thing. Like, whether it's a friendship, a job, a coworker, somebody has to be that person that extends that olive branch and kind of start, I ain't gonna say mend the relationship because I don't know what happened, but, for it to even be like, okay, I respect that too. Like, we don't see eye to eye, but I respect you and I respect that.
Here's the plot twist. He returns as a coach.
Ooh. And that would be a big plot twist.
Right.
He would be a coach though, because he would get so frustrated with these players.
Yes, that's what I would have done. Give me the helmet. I'll do it.
Right. Yeah, you know what?
That's why I can't be a manager. I'm like, you know what? You cannot edit this piece of audio, right? I'll do it, damn it.
But you said that, Mina, like sometimes some people aren't good in their roles. Like my mom, I have a family member, my mom says that about them all the time. Like she's like, he's a good worker, but he's not manager material. And that's why when he gets these management jobs, it doesn't work out because everybody doesn't really know how to play that role. And so it doesn't mean he's not a good person, but you could be working under somebody that just can't foster the environment because that's just not the skills that they have.
I think I've just learned in general though, like with managers and coworkers over time, like people just have different management skills and different resolution techniques. And then people have different work ethics. And I think that's what causes friction in any workplace. It's like you're dealing with conflict in a different way than how I would have dealt with it. You know, I'm very upfront about stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, this is the problem. This is how we fix it. That's the kind of person I am, right? Everybody's not willing to be like, well, this is the problem. Some people are like, well, everything is fine and we're doing great and team spirit, you know, and it's like you even sit in some of these manager conferences and they're literally telling people like, you have to be positive and you have to encourage the team. And it's like, it's almost like that mentality of like, let's give every kid a trophy. I don't agree with that. Some kids don't need no trophies. You need to be told you need to be doing better. So I think it's like just different management styles and then even different work ethics, which I've learned. Like, I love my job. I'm passionate about my job and I don't have a problem doing my job all day. Everybody's not like that. So it's like, I had to understand like sometimes it's not so much a personal friction. It's more so like maybe conflict resolution differences or maybe just different work ethics. Damn, dropping bombs today.
This is a good one.
But yeah, one day I'm gonna be like, F you, F y'all. I don't know if it's in my brain. I'll be wanting to do it, but then I never do it.
That works out
like,
well.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure working here.
That never works out well. You know who had that same mindset, right? Was Antonio Brown. That's basically what that is. And yeah, it may feel good in a moment, but shit,
Right.
After that moment is done, you gotta look back and be like, well, damn, can I get another job again?
I don't know about that, Garnett, because the one job, I've never been like fired before, but I was laid off at Verizon, right? And it was odd though, because they did like a layoff and then they had us still working in a store for the last month or two. And like I went to that store super professional and sold the hell out of those phones for a month. And like, I really should have been committing all types of fraud and stuff like that. And truthfully, I don't look back at that and feel good about myself. I feel like I wasted an opportunity. You fired me. Like, I literally am going to be unemployed after the end of this month. And I'm sitting here working this job. Like, that was stupid on my part.
I mean, you're supposed to gracefully bow out, not like take off your shirt and say F you and run out of it.
I should have been selling phones to the people who be stealing and stuff. Oh my God. Now I'm tripping again.
You would have been a criminal, man. Right. That's what would have happened.
I will say I really look up to Antonio Brown because that's not something I could do. And I wish I could. I wish I had that in me, you know, but I'm such a forward planner. I'm always, well, how is this going to affect me in the future? Or,
exactly.
You know, how about if I have to work with this person in the future? Like, how about if this person becomes a boss and now I got to ask him for a job? I always think that way. But one day I'm going to pull out that middle finger one day.
Even if it isn't necessarily.
Even if it's not an actual middle finger, like the figurative middle finger, like, you know, one day I'm going to do it just to say I did it.
We're so similar. I've been plotting on this all my life. It's not going to happen for either one of us. I'm telling you now, it's not going to happen. Ship is sealed. Maybe we should get jobs at McDonald's. Work there for a shift. All of us. Let's work at the same McDonald's. Work there for a shift. I can guarantee somebody's going to piss us off, and we can just do it. I quit. I'm done.
Right. Because I'm not be in there like, welcome to McDonald's. I'm like, guys, what we're gonna do is get this together. They be like, everybody else might quit because of me. They like, she ain't here trying to work, trying to organize stuff. What she think this is?
Listen, just put me on the fries. I'm eating all on fries. I don't care what y'all say.
You won't have to quit.
We're gonna quit. You're gonna get fired.
Fire you.
Even better.
Over there like,
even better, because people understand why. What happened with me? They'd be like, oh yeah, he just was eating the food. Yeah, it's going down.
The middle of COVID, right out the thing.
Dexter Mina was up there showing that.
So so write a letter, give 2 weeks notice, and be professional in your letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
do you tell them what's wrong with them? Do you tell them what's wrong with the company?
If they ask,
if it's an exit interview and they ask you, yes, but in your letter, no.
No, isn't that professional?
No, because that letter's gonna be in your file. Like,
it stays with you.
Because truthfully, like for me, when I did it the one time, I just said, "Look, I'm done. Thank you for the opportunity." And then when they called me to ask me like why I was doing it, I explained why, and then they're like, "Okay, I guess I get it." You know what I mean? Like it's like you'll get that out regardless. You don't need to like.
But technically, isn't it the same thing? Because wouldn't they write down in your file what you said verbally?
They can write that down, but I didn't say you don't have no proof. I said that letter is from me. Like,
and they will say they ask you questions. They ask you specific questions. So it's more about the responses from those questions than you saying, because I'm done because Sally Sue, and if she tell me to do where they say, was there an issue with your man? You know, whatever it is, then that's more of a response thing. And sometimes, listen, they be knowing.
How about if you want to throw somebody under the bus, though?
That's your time. You don't do that in the letter. You do it when you talk to the person directly.
You can say the culture. They might ask you like the culture here was toxic. You know, you can say
as your earring falls off. Your earring quit and said bye. F you. Your earring said F you. I've been working all day. I'm over it.
No 2 weeks notice either. Just
that would be me in the prize right there. Like, I'll be like, let's just let that sit.
What? I am flabbergasted. I thought that was the correct thing to do. Put in the letter, this is why I'm leaving.
No, it's just this is my last day.
So you don't even give 2 weeks. This is my last day.
Oh no, I'm saying whatever your last day is. Like,
okay.
I'll be moving on as effective. I'll be moving on. Thank you next.
So, and also one more thing. Nobody deserves to know where you're going next. Tell them that's when you can really tell them to kiss your butt, because that's the first thing. Well, where are you going now? I'm going somewhere. I'm going to make more money. That's it.
Right.
Where I'm going somewhere where they actually know what they're doing. Thank you.
That just drives me crazy.
Like, it's above you now. It's above you.
Where you going next? Like, away.
I'm going somewhere where they don't pay me $10 an hour and give me no lunch breaks. Talk about you should be happy you have your job. Thank you. And y'all ain't got no tea or coffee in the kitchen. Y'all ain't got no free amenities. I'm over y'all.
And y'all don't got remote work. And that's a no-no for me.
Right. Yo, you know what's crazy? Since the pandemic, so many people like require that as their job, like remote work. That's crazy. I never in 1,000 years thought I'd be able to tell a job, oh, I ain't coming to work. I want to work from home. Like,
that's like my biggest, I guess, flex in my life now. I will not work inside of an office again unless I feel like it, but I don't do that. I don't do office work anymore.
So how you was teaching?
I had to teach in a class twice, but I wasn't a teacher. But yeah, even with that, I can't do it. It's not okay to me. I don't like the commute. I want to only work from home.
Bougie.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Right. They gonna pay you half the money. Oh, you want work from home? We're gonna pay you half the money.
Cut your income.
Right. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching and listening to the Mina's House podcast. Next week, we're supposed to have Thelma Wright, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure I'm saying her name correctly.
That's her name.
Yep. Thelma Wright. She's a queen pin from Philadelphia. She was out here pushing weight.
Mm-hmm.
So, before Queen of the South, there was Queen Thelma.
Okay.
So, we gonna. What was she do? Was she singing? Was she selling crack? What was she selling?
I guess we'll find out next week.
I was gonna say it was cocaine. It might have been some crack, but yeah.
Can she admit that? If you went to jail, can you tell people yeah, right?
That's your limitation.
Went to jail, you said?
Yeah, she went to jail, right?
Yeah, I'm saying you say if she went to jail.
Like if someone went to jail and then you tell people I went to jail for selling crack, like
statute of limitations should be up.
Listen, I just watched a documentary on Sammy the Bull who killed 19 people and he's chilling in Florida right now. So you can do whatever you want to with this.
Say whatever, yeah. Because now they be trying to incriminate you. Like say they tried to like get you on drug charges and got you on other charges, and then you go and say, oh, I was selling this, and now they'll try to be like, oh, look, you said he was selling this. Okay, let's bring you back into court. So
isn't court like that's just a wicked place to be, man.
Man.
Yeah, it's just hard when you've done something illegal and then you got to go do interviews about it. Like, how do you talk about it? And then like, that's a question for her. Like, you're not worried at all, like talking about what happened to you. Like, do people still follow you or keep up with you, or, that's a question.
I don't think she's worried at all. I mean, it's, she did some time and paid her dues. And again, if everybody else could do it, she should be able to do it too.
Yeah, once you're punished, you can't be punished twice. So she.
Is that double jeopardy?
Yeah, unless she's speaking about some completely new stuff that like the case is still open and they're actively working on that. But
plus she could just say it's entertainment. It's just like when Rick Ross raps about it. He ain't really do it. I'm like that. I ain't really do it. I'm just talking about it.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm just chatting about it.
Yeah, but they use that in court now, right? And then Meek Mill and Jay-Z are actually trying to get a law passed to block that from happening.
That's stupid.
I completely disagree with that. I feel like people gotta be more responsible with their words. In order to, it's because I mean, at the end of the day, I get
that's a good topic right there. We should talk about that with her, because I actually felt like, okay, I get it, because people are saying things in their raps that they don't live. So how could you use that against me in a court of law?
Why would you say it?
It's entertainment.
There's nothing entertaining about that.
Well, no, that's the thing. The ones that aren't like living that life don't go to jail for it. It's the ones that's actually doing it. and it's like that's a conscious decision. Like J. Cole never has to worry about that in his life. So you're consciously making that decision to say whatever you need to say in order to sell records. So that's kind of on you, buddy, because it's mad rappers that they just lie. Like you said, Dex, they lie about it. They never do it.
Remember that J. Cole song, Neighbors? The neighbors think I'm selling dope. And then literally or maybe in the end of the song, he's like, maybe I did, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it doesn't mean he's selling drugs. He's telling a story. He's painting the picture. It's entertainment. It's music. Even if he's not telling his own story, he might be telling someone else's story. That's why I don't agree with that.
Unless Garnett said, unless they actually are doing it, why they telling the story about how they did it and what they're doing as well.
If you are doing it, stay far away from the truth. Don't do it.
All right. So Thelma will be joining us next week. Thank you for watching, listening. It's the 211th episode of the Mina SayWhat podcast. I'm Mina SayWhat.
I'm Shana B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Dexter.